Lagos never truly sleeps. Even when the rain comes in sheets that blind headlights and flood the gutters, the city still hums, hawkers shouting beneath umbrellas, danfos splashing through puddles, and distant laughter from rooftop bars that refuse to close. But under a rusted zinc canopy beside a locked food kiosk, Maya Okoye sat curled up on a flattened carton. Her blanket, an old anchor wrapper, was soaked through. She watched the night buses roar past, every horn echoing a reminder that the world was moving forward without her. At 17, she had learned to live invisible. The streets had become her school, the shadows of her classmates. She whispered to herself, the way Sister Agnes used to when she tucked her in at the orphanage. God sees even the forgotten. She hugged her knees tighter. The rain intensified, blurring the neon lights across the road. And then, like a scene painted in gold, her eyes caught the reflection of a boutique. Its glass facade shimmered, its sign glowing like a crown. Maison Celeste Lagos. Through the glass, she saw luxury, women in tailored gowns, velvet curtains, chandeliers dripping with crystals. The warmth inside radiated through a window, mocking the cold that clung to her bones. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since noon. A danfo pulled up. From its stepped Celeste Moreau, tall, elegant, her dark skin gleaming under camera flashes. The crowd of journalists cheered. Tonight was the launch of her Lagos Gold collection. Celeste waved gracefully, every inch the queen of African couture. Maya recognized her instantly. Everyone in Lagos did. Celeste's face was on billboards, her quotes about philanthropy and empowerment plastered on magazine covers. Maya watched as photographers called out, "Madame Celeste, one smile for the Guardian." She smiled faintly. How can someone smile feed the world while mine starves in silence? When the doors finally shut behind Celeste, the street quieted again. Maya crossed the road, rain dripping from her eyelashes. The boutique's warmth pulled her closer like a promise. She hesitated, then gently pushed open the door. A soft chime echoed. Perfumed air enveloped her. Everything glittered. Gold thread, glass shells, silk displays. She stood frozen, too overwhelmed to move. "Can I help you?" A sharp voice cut through. A sales attendant, slim and stern, walked over, her eyes scanning Maya's torn slippers. "This is not a place for people like you." Maya swallowed hard. "Please, I just need a few minutes to warm up. It's raining outside." The woman wrinkled her nose. "Out! Now!" Before Maya could plead, another voice glided across the room. Smooth, commanding. "What's happening here, Rita?" It was Celeste Moreau herself. She stood a few meters away, wrapped in a white tailored jumpsuit, diamonds on her wrist. Her tone was polite, but her eyes cold. Rita bowed slightly. "Madam," this street girl wandered in. "She says she's cold." Celeste's gaze drifted over Maya's trembling form, pausing on her eyes. For a heartbeat, something flickered. Recognition? Then it vanished behind practiced indifference. "Remove her," she said softly. Kindly, but quickly. Maya took a step forward. "Please, Ma, I didn't mean to cause trouble." Celeste turned away. "There are shelters for people like you." "Not here." Two guards approached. Maya's throat burned. "You don't understand. I'm not." They grabbed her arms gently but firmly and guided her out. Rain slapped her face as the door shut behind her. She stood motionless, mascara of dirt streaking down her cheeks. The boutique lights blurred behind tears. Something fluttered to the ground, an envelope from her pocket. She didn't notice. It landed just inside the boutique door, stamped with fading ink. St. Helena Orphanage. Confidential. Rita bent to pick it up. She dropped this. Celeste turned. The moment her eyes saw the orphanage logo, her breath caught. For a second, all color drained from her face. She whispered, almost to herself, "No, it can't be." Rita looked confused. "Should I toss it out?" Celeste regained her composure. "Yes, burn it." Rita hesitated. "Madam." Celeste's tone sharpened. "I said burn it." As Rita left, Celeste walked to the window, staring out into the storm. The girl outside looked like a shadow of her past, one she had buried 17 years ago. Outside, Maya wrapped her arms around herself and whispered through tears. One day, I'll walk back through those doors, and you'll remember me. Thunder rolled across the Lagos skyline. Inside, Celeste whispered to her reflection, God, please, not her. Morning came with thunderclouds still lingering above Lagos. The city was restless, vendors sweeping puddles from storefronts, buses honking like impatient giants. But under the pedestrian bridge by Ozumbambadiwe, Maya Okoye stirred from her cotton bed, drenched and shivering. She blinked against the light filtering through the cracks of the bridge. Her fingers instinctively searched her pocket and froze. The envelope was gone. Her breath hitched. No, 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 she muttered, rummaging through her wet bag, shaking her wrapper. Nothing. The only proof of her past, her orphanage letter, had vanished. She pressed her palms to her temples, trying to remember. Last night, when the guards pushed her out of the boutique, she'd heard paper fluttering. She had dropped it there. Her heart sank. Maison Celeste. She picked herself up, her clothes heavy with rainwater. Around her, the morning rush had begun. Women selling puff-puff, men yelling destinations to commuters. Maya ignored the stays. She had only one mission now, get that envelope back. By the time she reached Victoria Island, the boutique district was already alive. Luxury cars lined the curb. Security men stood by the golden doors of Maison Celeste Lagos, the letters glinting like fire. Maya approached hesitantly. Through the glass, she saw the same assistant from last night arranging handbags. She tapped softly on the door. The woman turned, frowned, and marched over. You again, she hissed. Maya clasped her hands. Please, I lost something here last night. An envelope. It's from my orphanage, St. Helena's. The assistant scoffed. We don't keep trash. It wasn't trash. Maya's voice trembled. It was important. Please just check. The woman crossed her arms. You think we have time for beggars' nonsense? Go before I call security. Maya's throat tightened. I'm begging you. The woman leaned closer, her perfume sharp. Don't embarrass yourself. Leave. Tears filled Maya's eyes. Please. The assistant's voice rose. Security. A guard stepped forward. Maya backed away, shaking her head. I'll go. I'll go. Her voice broke. God sees all of you. The glass doors shut again. Behind them, warmth glowed like a cool memory. Inside, Celeste Moreau stood in her office, staring at the envelope Rita had found the previous night. It lay open on her mahogany desk, beside a porcelain cup of tea gone cold. Her perfectly manicured fingers traced the orphanage logo again and again, as if touching the paper could erase time. Inside the envelope were three things: a faded photograph of Sister Agnes holding a small child, a birth record with faint ink, and a letter written in Sister Agnes' familiar cursive. Dear Maya, if you ever find your mother, forgive her. She made choices she regrets. Remember, not all love looks like kindness. Sister Agnes. Celeste's eyes filled with something she hadn't felt in years. Fear. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it. She couldn't tear her eye from the photo. The child's dark curls, wide eyes, that same gaze she'd seen across the boutique window last night. Rita, she called softly. Her assistant appeared at the door. Yes, madam. Celeste's tone was calm but tight. You said the girl's name was Maya, right? Rita frowned. She didn't say, Ma. Why? Celeste took a shaky breath. No reason. Just keep this between us. Rita nodded, uneasy, and left. As the door shut, Celeste sank into her chair. Maya. The name echoed like a curse she'd been running from. 17 years ago, she had made a choice. A desperate, shameful choice buried under a pile of contracts and lies. And now, fate had opened the door she'd slammed shut. Outside, Maya sat by a fruit stall, her stomach twisting in hunger and humiliation. The city bustled around her, people laughing, buying, living, while she sat invisible, clutching nothing but her empty hands. An old woman selling oranges watched her. You look hungry, my child. Maya shook her head weakly. I'm fine, Mama. The woman pressed 2 oranges into her palm. No child of God is fine when she's hungry. Take. Maya's lips trembled. Thank you. She peeled one slowly, juice dripping down her fingers. But even as she ate, her mind raced. Sister Agnes's letter, her warning. What was she trying to protect me from? She reached into her bag and pulled out a torn corner she'd found near the boutique door earlier, the only piece left of the lost envelope. The writing was smudged, but she could still read. Never go to Maison Moreau. Promise me. Her breath caught. Why? She looked toward the boutique again. Behind its glass, she saw the same woman, Celeste, speaking with photographers, smiling as if nothing had happened. The contrast stung. That woman lives like a goddess while I can't even find where I came from. Maya clenched her fist. If she's hiding something, I'll find it. That evening, as Celeste prepared for a televised interview about empowering the orphan girl child, her PR manager adjusted her microphone. You're trending already, Ma, he said proudly. The people love your story. You're Lagos's diamond. Celeste smiled for the camera. Inside, her heart was drowning. As the camera light blinked red, she recited her lines perfectly. Every child deserves a chance. That's why Maison Celeste will always stand with the underprivileged. Applause followed, but when the cameras went off, she whispered to herself, and what about the one child I didn't stand with? Later that night, Maya found herself walking along Admiralty Way, following the sound of distant waves. She had nowhere to sleep, no food left, but one burning thought kept her going. That boutique, that woman. She sat beneath a bridge overlooking the lagoon. The city skyline shimmered on the water like broken stars. Sister Agnes, she whispered, why would you warn me about her? What does she have to do with me? The wind carried no answer, only the faint echo of traffic and thunder far away. But across town, inside a penthouse with glass walls, Celeste couldn't sleep either. She stood by her mirror, clutching that same photograph, whispering the name that haunted her. Maya. The storm outside began again, soft at first, then heavy. Lightning flashed across the lagoon, illuminating two worlds bound by a secret neither fully understood. And somewhere between them, destiny stirred awake. The Danfo rattled along Third Mainland Bridge, its cracked windows streaked with rain. Maya sat squeezed between passengers, clutching her tattered bag. The city blurred by, yellow buses, hawkers, the gray lagoon, but her mind was on one destination only, St. Helena's Orphanage. She hadn't seen it in 3 months, not since Sister Agnes's funeral. The woman who raised her, who taught her to stitch fabric from scraps, had died with too many secrets. Now that strange warning, never go to Maison Moreau, made sense only as a challenge she had to confront. The bus stopped at Yaba, and Maya walked the remaining distance. The rain had turned the compound road into mud. The once white walls of St. Helena's were now the color of rust. The old swing creaked in the wind. Nothing had changed, except her. Mother Clarice, the new matron, met her at the gate, eyes narrowing. Maya Okoye, we thought you'd gone to start a new life. I tried, Maya said softly, but I need to see my file. Sister Agnes left something for me. The woman stiffened. Those records are private. Please, Ma, I'm begging you. Clarice hesitated, then sighed. Come. They entered the main office, a dim room smelling of mildew and ink. Piles of folders lined the shelves. Clarice poured 2 cups of watery tea. Sister Agnes spoke highly of you, she said. You were her best seamstress. She was my mother, Maya murmured. Clarice studied her. You remind me of someone. Who? The matron looked away. Someone who came here years ago, a donor from a fashion company. She took special interest in you. Maya's pulse quickened. Was it Celeste Moreau? Clarice's cup froze halfway to her lips. Where did you hear that name? I saw her. At her boutique. She threw me out. The matron's face paled. You went there? Maya nodded. And Sister Agnes warned me not to. Why? What's she hiding? Clarice stood abruptly. This conversation is over. Forget the past, Maya. It can only bring pain. I can't, Maya said, her voice shaking. Please, I just need the truth. Clarice sighed deeply. Your records were moved years ago, transferred to a private sponsor for safekeeping. Who? The woman's eyes flickered. Madame Celeste Moreau. The words landed like thunder. Maya stared. She owns my past. Clarice opened the door, avoiding her gaze. Go home, child. Some secrets are too heavy for you. But Maya didn't leave. That night, long after lights out, she slipped from the dormitory. Rain drummed the roof as she crept toward the record room. She jimmied the old padlock with a bobby pin and pushed the door open. Dust motes floated in moonlight. She searched drawer after drawer until her fingers brushed a folder labeled Thompson, Maya, Helena Initiative. Her heart raced as she opened it. Inside, a birth certificate, the mother's name blacked out in thick marker, but under the ink, faint letters showed. See? Moreau. Her breath hitched. She rubbed gently, revealing the name, Celeste Moreau. No, she whispered. That can't be. A photograph slipped out, young Celeste beside Sister Agnes, holding a baby. On the back, Helena Project 2008, New Beginnings. Footsteps echoed. Maya hid behind the shelf as Mother Clarice entered with two men in dark suits. Take everything labeled Helena, she ordered. Madame Moreau wants it destroyed. The men lifted boxes. Maya clutched the file to her chest and slipped out through the side door into the rain. She didn't stop running until the orphanage was a blur behind her. Hook! The truth wasn't just buried. It was being burned. Maya didn't sleep that night. She found refuge under an abandoned kiosk by Barriga Market, clutching the wet file like treasure. Lightning split the sky as she read every page. There were receipts of donations from Maison Celeste Foundation, letters between Celeste and Sister Agnes, and one stamped document. Transfer of infant custody, signed by Celeste Moreau. Her hands trembled. Custody. She flipped the page. It was her adoption form, unsigned, uncompleted. Celeste had started to claim her, then backed out. A tear rolled down Maya's cheek. She tried to take me, then left me. At dawn, she walked to a cyber cafe and borrowed 5 minutes on the computer. She scanned the pages with a dusty scanner, saving them on a flash drive she'd picked from a junk pile. She knew she had evidence, but also a target on her back. Across town, Celeste sat in her glass-walled office, hair wrapped in a silk scarf. Rita entered, pale. Madam, the orphanage director called. Someone broke in last night. A file is missing. Celeste's cup slipped from her hand. Tea spilled over her sketches. Which file? They said the one with your name. Celeste stood slowly. Get me Evelyn, now. Moments later, Evelyn Adiwale, her PR manager, arrived, a fierce woman in her 30s. You look like hell, boss. What's going on? Celeste handed her the photograph. That girl who came here, she's not random. She swallowed, she's mine. Evelyn blinked. Your daughter. Celeste nodded weakly. I gave her up to Sister Agnes years ago. I was 18, broke, scared. But I sent money every year, until the foundation took over. I thought she'd been adopted abroad. And now she's back. Celeste's voice cracked. And she knows. Evelyn paced. If this leaks, the media will crucify you. We built your brand on perfection, on sacrifice. No one can know about an illegitimate child. Celeste's shoulders sagged. She's not illegitimate. She's mine. Evelyn crossed her arms. Then you better decide, mother or mogul. You can't be both. That evening, Maya returned to the orphanage gates. Smoke drifted from behind the building. She ran inside. The record room was on fire. Flames licked the walls, ashes swirling like red snow. Help! She screamed, grabbing a bucket. Clarice and the men stood outside, watching coldly. Get away, Maya. Clarice shouted. It's over. Maya dropped the bucket, realization dawning. They were destroying every trace of her existence. Sirens wailed. Firefighters arrived. But it was too late. The archives were gone. She stood in the rain-soaked ashes, the folder still in her arms. Everything else had burned. A firefighter approached. You okay, miss? She nodded numbly. Yes, but they can't burn the truth. The next morning, the sun rose blood-red over Victoria Island. Celeste stood at her penthouse window, Lagos spread below like a kingdom she could no longer rule. Her phone buzzed endlessly. Reporters, sponsors, fashion houses. She ignored them all. Evelyn stormed in, tablet in hand. "We have a problem. Someone leaked orphanage photos online. Files label Helena Initiative. They are spreading like wildfire." Celeste froze. Who posted them? Evelyn turned the screen. A new YouTube channel, Voices of the Forgotten. The thumbnail showed the orphanage burnt ruins and a blurry shot of Celeste smiling beside Sister Agnes. Maya's voice narrated over the clip. "This is St. Helena's, the orphanage where I was raised. The woman who funds it, designer Celeste Moreau, doesn't want you to know what she did here." Within hours, hashtags trended. #Helena Files, #Celeste Exposed. Celeste's hand shook. "Get it taken down." Evelyn grimaced. "It's mirrored everywhere." And the comments, "People think you exploited orphans for tax relief." Celeste sank onto her couch, tears threatening her mascara. "I was trying to help." Intentions don't trend, Celeste. Only scandal. She buried her face in her palms. "What do I do?" "Get ahead of it," Evelyn said. "We'll hold a press conference. Cry if you must. But first, find that girl." Meanwhile, Maya sat in a cafe at Yaba Left, watching her video climb past 10,000 views. Her hands shook as she sipped watery coffee. A man approached, one of the firefighters from last night. "You the girl from Helena's." She nodded cautiously. He smiled kindly. "The city needs more brave ones like you. But be careful. Power doesn't forgive." She smiled faintly. "Neither does the truth." By evening, Celeste's face filled every newsfeed. TV hosts debated whether her charity was genuine. Some praised her legacy, others called her fraud. Protesters gathered outside Maison Celeste shouting, "We believed in you." Inside the boutique, Celeste sat alone. The chandeliers reflected her tears. The empire she built from fabric and fame was unraveling, thread by thread. Her phone rang. She almost didn't answer. The voice on the line made her freeze. "Mama," it said softly. Celeste's breath caught. "Maya." Silence. Then, "You could have told me." "I wanted to," Celeste whispered. "I thought you were safe." "You thought wrong." "Maya, please, let's meet. Let me explain." Maya's tone hardened. "Explain why you built your fortune on the ashes of orphans." The line went dead. Celeste collapsed into her chair, sobbing. The truth had finally spoken back. That night, Lagos buzzed with rumor. Fashion reporters speculated if Maison Celeste would survive. But one story spread faster than all, the homeless girl who exposed a fashion queen. In a dim hostel room, Maya stared at her reflection in the cracked mirror. "She called me my child, once," she whispered. "Now the whole world knows, but I still don't know why she abandoned me." She opened the folder again. At the bottom, a note she hadn't noticed before. Sister Agnes's final words. "If this reaches you, know that forgiveness is heavier than revenge. One will free you, the other will chain you." Maya folded the paper carefully. "Maybe I can't forgive yet," she murmured, "but I'll make sure the truth rebuilds what they burned." The morning after the scandal broke, the world of Lagos fashion spun out of control. Celeste Moreau's face filled every screen. News ticker screamed designer's charity under fire. Her phone buzzed with missed calls, sponsors, lawyers, journalists, former friends. Inside her penthouse, Celeste stood before the mirror, a shadow of her usual poise. Her flawless skin, her perfect bun, all mask hiding the storm beneath. She touched a reflection and whispered, "How did I become the villain in my own story?" Evelyn burst in, her sharp heels clicking. "We've contained some of the damage," she said, dropping a tablet on the table. "But people want blood. You need to give them a story, something sympathetic." Celeste frowned. "A story? Evelyn, this is my life." Evelyn crossed her arms. "Then live it like a PR campaign. You'll apologize, claim misunderstanding, maybe even..." She hesitated. "Meet the girl." Celeste looked up sharply. "Maya." "Yes, the public will eat it up. Estranged daughter reunited with mother. Redemption sells." Celeste turned away, Heart pounding. You don't understand. Maya hates me. Evelyn sighed. Then make her love you again, even if you have to fake it. Meanwhile, Maya sat in a dingy cafe with her friend Uche, a delivery rider who'd given her a place to crash. He scrolled through his phone. Babe, you're famous. Look, your video's got 50,000 views now. Maya managed a small smile. It's not about fame. It's about the truth. Uche nodded. Truth doesn't pay bills. Oh, but it gets you attention. And attention? That's power. Her gaze drifted toward the window. She called me last night. Uche's eyebrows shot up. Celeste Moro? As in the fashion queen. She said she wants to meet. Maya's voice trembled. I don't know if I can face her. He leaned forward. Then don't go alone. Later that day, Celeste arrived at Eco Hotel lobby, wrapped in a black trench coat, her face hidden behind sunglasses. She'd chosen a quiet corner for privacy. Evelyn sat nearby, scrolling through headlines. At 3 p.m., Maya walked in, nervous, clutching her folder. The same eyes, the same posture. For a moment, Celeste forgot how to breathe. Maya, she whispered. Maya didn't sit. Why now? Why talk after 17 years? Celeste's throat tightened. Because I never stopped thinking about you. Then why did you leave me? Celeste's voice cracked. I was young, poor. I thought I was saving you. Sister Agnes promised. Promise what? Maya snapped. That I'd grow up never knowing who I was. Evelyn stepped in quickly. Ladies, we can stay out of this. Maya's voice shook. This is between us. Celeste reached across the table, tears in her eyes. I can't undo the past, Maya, but I can make it right. Maya pulled her hand back. Then start with the truth. Celeste swallowed. You were the reason I built Maison Celeste. I wanted to build something worthy of you. Maya's voice softened. Barely. Then stop lying. The orphanage burned because of your people. Celeste froze. Evelyn's eyes widened. Maya leaned forward, whispering, You may own fashion, but I own your secret. She stood and walked out, leaving Celeste trembling. The viral storm grew teeth. Bloggers wrote thick pieces. Influencers dissected every photo. Some called Maya a hero, others a gold digger. But Maya didn't care about public opinion. She cared about what Celeste confessed between the lines. I thought I was saving you. That night, she met Uche again by the lagoon. If she's telling the truth, there's more to this, he said. She's still hiding something, Maya replied. Sister Agnes wouldn't have warned me unless there was danger. Uche raised a brow. Danger like what? Money, power, lies. The Helena Initiative was more than charity. It was business. Meanwhile, in her penthouse, Celeste confronted Evelyn. You knew about the orphanage fire before I did, didn't you? Evelyn hesitated. I had contact keeping an eye on the files. Celeste's voice hardened. And you didn't tell me? You let me walk into this blind. Because you were protecting that girl over your career, Evelyn snapped. I saved the brand while you drowned in guilt. Celeste stepped closer. You don't own me, Evelyn. Evelyn smirked. Without me, you're just a scared woman with a scandal. Celeste's slap was sharp enough to echo. Get out. Evelyn's eyes blazed. Fine, but remember this. I know everything you've buried. 2 nights later, Maya received a mysterious email with no sender name, just one attachment. Helena Initiative, full financial record. Her heart pounded as she opened it. Spreadsheet showed Celeste's company diverting funds meant for orphan scholarships into offshore accounts. And at the bottom, authorized by C. Moreau, co-signed by E. Adiwale. Evelyn, Maya whispered. She's turning on her. She uploaded a new video that night. They said the money was for children, but look where it went. Within hours, the internet exploded. Evelyn's name trended beside Celeste's. The empire was collapsing from both sides. By morning, Evelyn's betrayal was front-page news. Celeste's PR crisis became a witch hunt. Former employees leaked messages. Models canceled partnerships. Maison Celeste was in free fall. Celeste sat in silence, scrolling through her ruined legacy. Every article stabbed like a knife. How did everything I built turn to ashes? Her phone buzzed again. It was her lawyer. Madam, we must cooperate with investigators. They are reopening the Helena case. Celeste gripped the desk. They can't. Those records are gone. Not all, he said grimly. Someone submitted digital copies. Celeste's vision blurred. Maya. In Yaba, Maya met with an NGO journalist, Ifema Juru. You understand, Ifema said gently. This will go global once we publish. Maya nodded. Let it. Maybe then the other children Celeste used will be free too. Ifema studied her. You don't just want revenge, do you? I want her to see what it feels like to lose everything. Evelyn appeared on television that night, her face composed, voice dripping with false sorrow. Celeste Morrow deceived me too, she told reporters. I only helped because I believed her charity was real. Maya watched from Uche's phone, disgusted. She's lying. They did it together. Uche frowned. You'll need proof stronger than words. Maya opened her bag and pulled out the last page from Sister Agnes's letter. Then I'll find the original donor ledger. It must still exist somewhere. She stood, determined, because this story wouldn't end with fire, it would end with truth. Rain returned, hammering Lagos like memory itself. Maya put on a borrowed hoodie and made her way back to the orphanage ruins. The gates were locked, the air thick with the smell of burnt paper. She climbed over the wall. Her flashlight swept across blackened shelves. Something glittered, a small USB drive, half melted. She picked it up. When she plugged it into a borrowed laptop later, folders appeared labeled Donor Records 2008 to 2015. One file opened to reveal scanned receipts, including one signed not by Celeste, but Evelyn Adiwale. Maya smiled bitterly. So the loyal PR queen was a real thief. Across town, Celeste confronted Evelyn in her office one last time. You framed me, Celeste said, voice trembling. You used my signature to move funds. Evelyn leaned back, smirking. You gave me power, Celeste. I just used it better. Celeste slammed the folder on the desk. You ruined my daughter's life. Evelyn's laugh was sharp. Your daughter? You abandoned her long before I came. Don't play the saint now. Security entered moments later to escort Evelyn out. Cameras flashed as she was arrested for fraud. But the damage was already global. Celeste sank into her chair. Maya, I'm sorry. Maya watched Evelyn's arrest on TV that night. For the first time, she felt something heavy lift off her chest, but not relief, just emptiness. Uche placed a hand on her shoulder. You did it. No, she whispered. The truth did. She looked out the window toward the skyline where Maison Celeste's golden logo still shone faintly through the haze. Now it's her turn to face it. Hook, the queen has fallen, but the reckoning has only begun. 2 weeks later, the Eco Convention Center overflowed with reporters. A banner read, Maison Celeste Foundation, public address. Celeste stepped onto the stage, trembling but resolute. Cameras clicked. The world held its breath. She looked straight into the lights and began, For years, I preached compassion while hiding my greatest shame, my daughter, Maya. I abandoned her, and I failed the children who trusted me. I was wrong. Gasps filled the hall. Flashbulbs flickered like fireworks. I can't erase my sins, she continued, but I can rebuild. Every kobo misused will return to those it was meant for. And I ask forgiveness, not from the world, but from one girl. She paused. Maya, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Across town, Maya sat on a rooftop watching the live stream from Uche's phone. Rain misted her face. For a long time, she said nothing. Then she whispered. She finally said it. Uche smiled. So, forgiveness. Not yet, Maya said softly. But maybe someday. She stood, eyes on the skyline. I'll face her again, not as the girl she threw out, but as the woman her lies created. Lightning flashed, illuminating her determined face. Hook. Next, Maya returns, not for revenge, but to reclaim her mother's empire in her own name. Lagos woke up like a courtroom. Everywhere. On BRT buses, in bukas, in salons where dryers hummed. People argued about Celeste Moreau and the girl who turned the city's most polished mirror to glass. Hashtags still burned. The press conference replayed endlessly. Celeste's apology, the confession, the promise to return every kobo. But apologies don't rebuild burnt archives. People wanted action. At the office of the public defender, corridors smelled of oiled wood and rain-wet files. Ifeoma Juru, the NGO journalist who had earned Maya's trust, laid out her evidence before a panel of auditors and social workers. On the table, a printout of the Helena Initiative spreadsheets, the half-melted USB from St. Helena's ruins, and Sister Agnes's letter protected inside a clear sleeve like a relic. An auditor adjusted his glasses. Miss Juru, these signatures, are we certain they weren't forged? Ifeoma opened a folder, calm and exact. We compared them with banking authorization cards and internal emails obtained through subpoena. Cross-match with metadata from the scanned receipts. The co-signatories are C. Moreau and E. Adiwale. Money intended for scholarships and medical care moved to discrete project codes, then to shell accounts. From there, through a routing service to Zarafa Holdings, which is a company owned by Evelyn Adiwale. Murmurs. Pen scraped. The clerk's wrist shook, recording the minutes. A door opened. A woman stepped in hurriedly, Mother Clarice. Her scarf drooped like a defeated flag. I came to tell the truth, she said quietly. Sister Agnes and I disagreed. She wanted disclosure. I wanted the donor money to keep the lights on. Evelyn convinced me the record's transfer was legal. When the fire started, I froze. She swallowed. The children deserved better than my fee. Why destroy the files? An auditor asked. Tears filled her eyes. Because without them, no one could ask questions. She looked at the evidence, shame burning her cheeks. I will sign an affidavit. Across town, Maya sat in the corner of a crowded church hall repurposed as a shelter, showing two little girls how to thread a needle. She'd started volunteering there the morning after the press conference, partly to stay busy, partly because the hollow inside her needed filling by something that wasn't anger. One of the girls, Bimbo, frowned at a crooked stitch. Auntie, it's ugly. Maya smiled. Ugly ones hold strongest. They fight to stay. The girl giggled, the sound like a bell in the storm. Uche appeared at the door, helmet under his arm. News, warrior. He handed over his phone, state panel to probe Helena funds, Evelyn charged with fraud, obstruction. And below it, public defender summons Maya Okoye to give testimony. Her throat tightened. At Maison Celeste, the showroom stood quiet, mannequins cloaked. Celeste stared at a single dress on the stand, silk the color of morning light, seems perfect. She drafted it in secret years ago, a design named Maya in pencil on the pattern. She had planned to gift it on the girl's 18th birthday, to step out of the shadows with a dress and a mother's name. Plans, like stitches, had tangles. Evelyn's lawyer called. My client is prepared to testify that she acted under your direction. Celeste closed her eyes. She can lie under oath if she wants. I'm done lying. The public hearing took place at the old High Court Annex, where ceiling fans stirred damp air and microphones squealed. Journalists pressed against railings. In front row, social workers, former St. Helena staff, the new reform-minded commissioner. Celeste's chair sat empty. Beside the witness table, a jug of water sweated in the heat. Maya walked in holding her folder. Cameras flickered, whispers rose like smoke. She sat, palms damp, and face a panel. State your name. Maya Okoye. You understand you under oath. I do. Tell us what happened at St. Helena's. Maya breathed once. Steady. We were taught to be grateful, to say amen for every bowl of beans, to bless the donors whose names we would never know. But one donor wasn't nameless. Her name was Celeste Moreau. When I went to her boutique for warmth, she threw me out. She paused. When I dropped this envelope, she raised the sleeve. Celeste tried to burn it. The orphanage burned days later. But the truth is a stubborn fire. Gasps. Cameras flashed. She is my mother, Maya added softly, the word floating like a bird that had learned a new sky. Do you seek damages? An auditor asked. Maya turned her hands upward. I seek a future, for me and for the kids after me. Investigate the money. Return it. Rebuild St. Helena's into something that doesn't hide its children. Silence settled like a blessing. The chairperson nodded. Thank you, Miss Okoye. Outside, the sky split. Rain hammered the roofs. Reporters swarmed, shoving microphones. Maya, do you forgive her? She shielded her face. Ask me when the children have beds and school uniforms. On a day in Moalakaja, a black SUV idled. Celeste watched the courthouse doors through tinted glass, fingers gripping the wheel. She ached to run to Maya, to hold her, to say every unsaid thing. But the world was watching, and she promised herself, this time she would earn the right to speak. They met not in a boutique or boardroom, but in a hospital corridor smelling of antiseptic and hope. The court clerk stood with a chain of custody box, a nose prep swabs. Celeste arrived in a simple anchor blouse, no makeup, hair wrapped, stripped of armor. Maya wore Uche's oversized hoodie, eyes clear, chin lifted. The nurse explained briskly, open your mouth. Swab both cheeks. Place a swab in the tube. Seal. Sign. Celeste's hand shook as she signed. She looked up. Maya's gaze met hers, unreadable. I never stopped counting your birthdays, Celeste whispered. Maya's jaw tightened. But you stopped counting my nights. Silence. The swabs clicked into their tubes like tiny verdicts. Chain of custody sealed. The clerk left with a courier. Results in 48 hours. The timeline that makes time cruel. Outside under the jacaranda trees, Celeste spoke first. Whatever the test says, I'm committed to rebuilding St. Helena's, with or without my name on the plaque. Maya folded her arms. With whose money? Mine, Celeste said quietly, and whatever the court recover from Evelyn's theft. Maya studied her. And my file? My records? You took them. I gave them to the orphanage to keep you safe from a scandal I feared. That fear turned me into a scandal. Celeste's voice cracked. I failed you. Let me not fail the next child. Maya stared at the hospital doors. 48 hours, she said. After that, no more shadows. News of the test leak within an hour. Lagos moves faster than electricity in a storm. On social media, camps formed. Team forgive vs Team finish her. A radio host asked callers, should Maya accept Celeste's apology? A market woman replied, apology no be beans. First, pay school fees. At night, Celeste returned to her penthouse and unplugged everything that beeped. She pulled out a cardboard box she hadn't opened in years, baby clothes wrapped in tissue, a hospital wristband with the name Baby Girl, Okoye, a tiny sock like a question mark. She cradled them on the floor and cried until the city lights blurred. Maya, meanwhile, couldn't sleep. She spread fabric on the shelter's long table, bright wax prints donated by a tailor who'd heard her story. 12 girls gathered around. Tonight, Maya said, forcing a smile, we'll learn how to cut shapes from chaos. What are we making? Bimbo asked. Maya thought of swabs and signatures and mothers, then picked up chalk. A dress, she said, for a day we don't yet have. They waked until generators coughed off and the room fell into soft darkness. Rain tapped the windows like steady fingers. Maya whispered into that darkness, Sister Agnes, sit with me through this night. 4 to 7 hours. 4 to 6. The results day dawned with a sky-like iron. At the lab, the clerk slit the envelope in front of counsel on both sides. 2 lines of text, clinical and final. Probability of maternity, 99.998%. Conclusion, Celeste Moreau is the biological mother of Maya Okoye. No chiz, just air-leaving lungs. Celeste reached for Maya and stopped halfway. May I? Maya's voice wavered. I don't know yet. They stood like that, 2 silhouettes bridged by a possibility that used to be a secret. The lawyer cleared his throat. The panel will expect joint proposals tomorrow for restitution and reform. Maya nodded slowly. Then we'll write one. Celeste blinked. We. Maya met her eyes, not soft, but not stone. The children need us both. Security lights glowed over the shelter in Suilir like watchful moons. After the threatening message, Uche insisted on staying. He leaned his bike against the gate, eyes scanning shadows. "Nobody will touch this place," he said, voice low. "Not while I breathe." Inside, Maya tried to act normal. She helped serve okra soup, coaxed one boy to take his malaria meds, and joked about a tailor stubbing machine. But fear slid under the doors like a draft. Near midnight, she called Efima. "Someone's watching us." "Screenshots, timestamps," Efima said briskly. "I'll loop in the police liaison. And Maya, don't let fear write your next chapter." The next morning, the public panel resumed. Today wasn't accountants and signatures. Today was about children. Adolescents from St. Helena's lined the benches, braids tight, faces set. A boy named Chidi spoke first, voice steady. "We were told the donor was a queen. Sometimes food ran out. We still prayed for her. I don't know where the money went, but it didn't reach our plates." A girl, Ngozi, lifted a scarred wrist. "We mended uniforms till the cloth gave up. Sister Agnes used to sell her own shawl for our textbooks." Mother Clarice wept openly. "I failed you." Then the unexpected. An older woman with silver at her temples stood. Madame Beasy, once Celeste's head seamstress. "I worked at Maison Celeste from the first day," she said. "I saw how the brand rose. But I also saw the memos. Money-dodging line items like goats in traffic. I confronted Evelyn. She said, 'Do you prefer poor children or rich payroll?' I resigned." She turned to Maya. "Your mother was blind, but not heartless. The heart can still learn to see." Cameras found Celeste in the audience at the back. No front-row theatrics, no sunglasses. She pressed a handkerchief to her mouth. When Maya took the MIC, she didn't talk about DNA. She talked about patching. "Seamstresses say every tear teaches you how the fabric moves," she said. "The city tour. We are learning." The chairperson nodded slowly. "The panel will recommend a restitution fund managed by third-party trustees, immediate audit of St. Helena's, and a public apology to the children." He looked at Maya and Celeste. "We also suggest an independent skills training hub to be co-designed by those harmed." Outside, the crowd split between boos and blessings. A woman in a market apron pressed a wrapped puff-puff into Maya's hand. "For strength, Pekin." Another hissed, "Celebrity orphan." Lagos is never one thing. That evening, at the shelter, Maya and the girls pinned muslin to a mannequin. "Think of this like an essay," Maya said, smiling. "Intro, body, conclusion." Bimbo raised a hand. "And hook." Laughter softened the room. Uche burst in. "TV." He pointed to the old set. A live broadcast. Evelyn Ediwale in handcuffs, flanked by police, face indifferent. A reporter shouted, "Do you regret it?" Evelyn smirked. "I regret trusting amateurs." Maya's phone dinged. A second message from the unknown number. "You think arrests ended? Stay quiet if you love those kids." Maya looked at the girls, their open faces, their careful hands. Anger lit inside her like a clean flame. "We're not going quiet." Efima traced the threatening text to a prepaid SIM that hopped towers like a flea. Clever, but not invisible. She coordinated with a police liaison to increase patrols near the shelter. "They want silence," she told Maya. "We answer with documentation." So Maya documented. She shot videos of the torn mattresses, the empty medicine cabinet, the girls practicing darts of fabric on the mannequin bust. She posted a thread, #proof of life, not pity, but presence. The internet responded with donated thread, needles, even a refurbished industrial sewing machine from a tailor in Mushin whose caption read, "For my daughters I haven't met." Meanwhile, Celeste sat with her lawyers drafting the restitution and reform proposal. She insisted on 3 pillars: refunds, all funds returned with interest; rebuild, new St. Helena campus with transparent books; rise, a citywide, donor-agnostic skills hub governed by social workers and former orphans, not fashion executives. Her lawyers balked. "This concedes too much." "It concedes the truth," Celeste said. "Make it tighter, not smaller." She carried a copy to Maya at the shelter. No cameras, just 2 women at a plastic table while generators droned. "I've read it. Maya said, tapping the pages. It's good, but one thing is missing. Celeste braced. Name it. Ownership. Maya slid over a hand-drawn organogram. The skills hub must be led by people who live there, including me. If the city funds it, the city must see itself in it. Celeste studied the boxes and arrows written in Maya's careful hand. Co-directorship, she asked softly. Only if I can fire you, Maya deadpanned. Celeste laughed, a small, surprised sound. Deal. They spent 2 hours red-penning clauses. Twice Celeste reached to tuck a loose braid behind Maya's ear. Twice she stopped herself, boundaries as new as clothes being fitted. Uche watched from a distance, helmet under his arm, a private smile bending his mouth. When Celeste left, she didn't take the proposal. She left it with Maya. Trust, the gesture said. That night, a brick shattered the shelter's office window. The girl screamed. Uche sprinted outside but saw only taillights vanishing. On the floor, a crude note painted in engine oil. No queen, no crown. Police took statements, promised patrols. The girls slept in the hole together, cots pushed close like ships in a storm. Maya stayed awake, sitting guard with a kitchen knife and a phone open to the security feed. Fear gnawed, but resolve held. At dawn, the panel secretary called. We reviewed your joint proposal. We want a public unveiling in 3 days. Press, donors, civil society. Maya exhaled. We'll be ready. She turned to the girls. We have 3 days to show Lagos what we can build. The room exploded with plans. Who would speak? What songs the younger ones would sing? The dress they would finish in time. Maya texted Celeste. We're on. Don't be late. Celeste replied a moment later. I've been 17 years late. I won't miss this. The civic hall in Yaba glittered not with chandeliers but with paper pinwheels the girls had folded and strung across rafters. On stage, a mannequin wore the dress they'd raced to finish, a mosaic of donated wax print stitch with clean, proud lines. They'd named it home. Reporters arrived early. Activists filled rows. The commissioner sat near the front with auditors and social workers. Celeste entered quietly, no entourage, carrying 2 boxes. One labeled refunds with certified checks, the other receipts, copies of contracts for the new St. Helena bill signed with an independent trustee. People leaned forward. A murmur rolled through the hall like approval finally finding a body. Maya opened the program with the girls beside her. We were told to be grateful, she said into the MIC. Today we are not grateful. We are partners. Applause thundered. Bimbo waved at the cameras without shame. Celeste stepped up, eyes bright. I stand on this stage not as a savior, but as a seamstress who cut corners where she should have mended. I will spend the rest of my life patching what I tore. She turned to Maya. If she'll let me. A hush. Maya held Celeste's gaze, then nodded once, formal, untheatrical. Forgiveness hadn't come, but permission to build had. They unveiled the Helena Rising Hub Plan, co-directorship, Maya plus a social work council, audited open ledger funding, quarterly town halls, scholarships tied to community service, maker spaces for textiles, coding, carpentry, all run by alumni and professionals, not brands. Questions flew. A reporter asked, Is Maison Celeste finished? Celeste smiled faintly. No, it will be restored. She turned to the dress named home. If it returns as a collaborator, not a queen. Backstage, Ifema hurried over, whispering into Maya's ear. The threatening SIM ping from inside Maison Celeste 2 nights ago. Evelyn's gone, but someone else has access. Who? Maya breathed. Security logs show a midnight entry by Rita. Rita, the boutique assistant who picked up the orphanage envelope the first night. Maya's stomach dropped. She was there when Celeste said, burn it. Ifema nodded. And she's here today. They scanned the crowd. Near a pillar, Rita stood with a tote bag, eyes darting. She started moving toward the exit. Uche. Maya hissed. He was already moving. In 3 strides, he blocked the door. Rita pivoted, right into Celeste, who had come off stage with a bouquet the girls had thrust into her arms. Rita, Celeste said softly. Rita's jaw clenched. You built your empire while we ironed your sins. Do you think apology feeds us? Then take my hand, Celeste said, extending it, and help feed everyone. Rita's eyes flashed. For a tremor, the tote shifted, revealing a capped petrol can. The world slowed. The crowd's hum receded. Uche moved. Security surged. Cameras tilted like gulls. Maya stepped in front of the mannequin dress. "Don't," she said, voice even. "We had enough fire." Rita looked from Maya to Celeste, rage curdling into grief. Her arm sagged. Security took the bag, gentle but firm, and guided Rita aside. She didn't fight. She just whispered, "Nobody stitched for me." Maya swallowed. "Then come learn with us." Rita stared at the floor. For the first time, her shoulders softened. Back on stage, the commissioner took the MIC in light of the evidence and today's commitments. The state recognizes Helena Rising Hub as a public interest partner. Funds are unfrozen under trustee control, pending ongoing prosecutions. He paused. Smile small but real. Sometimes Lagos mends. The hall erupted. The girls danced. Uche whooped. Ifema wiped her eyes, pretending it was dust. Celeste leaned toward Maya. "You were magnificent." Maya exhaled like a diver breaking the surface. "We're not done." Celeste glanced at the dress. "Then let's begin the next scene." Rain drummed softly on the roof of the shelter that night as Maya sat at the sewing table staring at the envelope the courier had handed her. Inside was a battered hard drive, wrapped in an old orphanage invoice, and a single note written in Sister Agnes's familiar looping script. "For when you're ready to know why I chose Celeste." Her pulse quickened. What could a nun have chosen? And why did it still matter after all these storms? Uche wheeled over his laptop. "Plug it. We back up first. No tekwala." When the files loaded, folders bloomed across the screen. Helena Initiative Archives, 2008 to 2010. Videos. Scans. One labeled interview_C Moreau. Maya clicked. Grainy footage filled the monitor. A younger Celeste, nervous in a plain dress, sitting opposite Sister Agnes. "Agnes, you understand this sponsorship means permanent confidentiality." Celeste, "Yes, sister, I just need her safe. My employers can't find out." "Agnes, they would fire you for being pregnant." Celeste, "They would destroy me, but when I can stand on my own, I'll come back for her." The audio hissed. The file was cut off. Maya's hands trembled. Celeste hadn't abandoned her out of vanity, but out of survival. Yet Sister Agnes's next file told another layer. Letters showing that the orphanage itself had been threatened by powerful donors who wanted Celeste to keep silent. They used the Helena Initiative as cover to launder political money. Evelyn hadn't invented corruption. She'd inherited it. "So this thing is bigger than both of you," Uche muttered. Maya nodded slowly. "And it's still alive." She packed the drive carefully. "Tomorrow we will show Celeste." At dawn, she went to the Maison Celeste ruins, the flagship boutique boarded since the scandal. Celeste stood inside, blueprint tubes under her arm. "You came early," Celeste said quietly. "I was just sketching what the new workshop might look like." Maya handed her the drive. "Sister Agnes left this. You need to see." Hours later, they watched the footage together in stunned silence. When it ended, Celeste whispered, "I didn't know she recorded that day." "She was protecting both of us," Maya said. "But the people she mentioned, the politicians, they are still out there." Celeste straightened. "Then the reckoning isn't over." Outside, thunder rolled again. By morning, panic. The drive was gone. Her bag slipped cleanly while she slept on the shelter floor. Nothing else taken. Uche cursed. Professional hand. Maybe same people from back then. Maya's mind raced. Without the footage, the politicians could dismiss everything as gossip. "We need to warn Celeste." But Celeste's phone was off. She'd gone to Abuja overnight to meet a federal committee about the restitution rollout. Maya dialed Ifema instead. The drive stolen. Ifema swore under her breath. "I suspected surveillance after your last thread. I'll call my contact at the cybercrime unit. Stay put." But staying put wasn't Maya's nature. She traced the only clue, faint shoe prints near the shelter gate, luxury soles. Only one person she knew wore Maison Celeste prototype loafers, Rita. She and Uche rode across town to the defunct boutique's warehouse district. Through cracked windows they saw flickering light. Voices. "She'll trade the original for silence," one said. Rita's. Another voice, male, unfamiliar. "We need the footage before Moreau meets that committee. The men behind Helena paid me to end this." Maya gripped Uche's arm. "We call the police, now." But the guard outside spotted movement. Shouts. They ran through stacked crates as flashlights swept. A chase through puddled alleys, adrenaline and echoing steps. Uche vaulted a fence. Maya slipped, clutching the drive she'd snatched from Rita's open tote mid-chaos. A bullet ricocheted off metal. She didn't stop. They reached the main road gasping. Soaked, alive. "Got it." Uche wheezed. She opened her fist. The USB glinted. "Let's finish what we started," she said. Headline screamed before dawn. Fashion icon Celeste Moreau in critical condition after highway collision. Maya's phone fell from her hand. She boarded the first bus to Abuja, wind whipping her braids. The hospital corridors, there smelled of disinfectant and despair. Celeste lay pale but breathing, shoulder bandaged, leg in cast. Uche waited outside while Maya stepped to the bedside. Celeste opened her eyes. "You found the truth?" Maya nodded, tears burning. "And nearly lost you." Celeste smiled weakly. God likes drama. Doctors said it wasn't fatal, but she'd need weeks of rest. The committee postponed their session. While Celeste slept, Maya slipped the recovered drive to Efima, who had flown up to cover the case. "Publish everything once she's stable." "Sure." "Yes. Secrets nearly killed us. Let light finish the job." 2 days later, the Lagos Chronicle dropped the expose. Names of politicians who funneled money through Helena Initiative, transaction proofs from the drive, even scans of Sister Agnes's letters. The story detonated. Arrest followed. Celeste's crash was quickly ruled no accident. Police traced the attacker to one of the implicated firms. Public fury exploded. Donors withdrew. Protests filled the file with bail with square chanting. "Protect the children, not the rich." Celeste watched the broadcast from her hospital bed, tears cutting clean lines through her exhaustion. Maya sat beside her. "I thought the truth would destroy me," Celeste whispered. "But maybe it's the only fabric that fits." Maya took her hand. "Then we keep weaving." Hook. A letter arrives from the ministry, inviting both women to headline the National Youth Empowerment Summit. Weeks later, the new St. Helena campus rose where ashes once lay, sun-washed walls, open workshops humming with laughter and machines. On the gate, Helena Rising Hub, founded by Maya Okoye and Celeste Moreau. The grand reopening drew everyone. Press, officials, orphans, now scholars. Maya wore the home dress, now finished with a crimson sash. Celeste moved easily beside her cane, radiant. Inside the main hall hung a mural painted by the girls. Sister Agnes's face surrounded by patches of cloth, each stitch with word, truth, grace, rebirth. As drums echoed, Celeste leaned close. The anonymous email, "Did you trace it?" Maya nodded. "We did. It came from within the ministry. Another investigation's already begun. We'll fight again if we must." Celeste smiled faintly. "Then we'll fight beautifully." When the ribbon was cut, cheers rolled like thunder. Balloons lifted into the sky. Reporters surged, but this time the lenses caught something new. Not scandal, but healing. Later, when the crowd dispersed, Maya slipped into the quiet orphanage chapel. The scent of fresh paint mingled with candle wax. She knelt before Sister Agnes's portrait. "We did it, Mama Agnes," she whispered. "The truth finally wears its right name." Outside, children's laughter rose. Celeste called, "Maya, they're waiting for you." She stepped into the sunlight. Celeste stood beside the girls, scissors in hand, poised to cut another ribbon, this one for the Maison Celeste training wing. The sign beneath read, "Fashioned by Forgiveness." As they cut together, applause burst. Drone cameras soared over the compound, capturing mother and daughter laughing freely for the first time, surrounded by the children who would inherit the mended world. Maya looked up at the blue Lagos sky and whispered to herself, "From homeless to heritage, St. Helena finally has a home."